This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, last class, what I did, I showed you how we are doing the configuration of app agent, right? So what will I do? I showed how to set my application. First, I showed how to set my application. Now, what we are going to do, how my agent will be configured into my application, and how data is coming back to data is coming back to my App Dynamics SaaS account. That is what I'm trying to show you. So I'm launching the App Dynamics SaaS account now. Guys, if you face any queries during this explanation, please feel free to ask all your queries. Okay, you stop me at any point of time, and then you can ask all your queries. Okay, because this is very important. I think in the last class Imanshu was asking a question, how is that happening in App Dynamics. That is what I'm going to show you, Imanshu. Okay, so what will I do? I'm going here for the benefit of you guys. I'm deleting everything already available in my machine, because then only it will become empty. Okay, so now we have application. We have one application, and then I just want to show you the configuration in App Dynamics. Okay, guys, you confirm me that you guys are able to hear my voice properly, right? You are able to hear me properly.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so just after logging into App Dynamics SaaS account, I am going to do a app agent configuration. So what is the primary thing we have to do? I'll show you step by step. Okay, either you can go to the application tab. There also you can do your configuration, or under home tab there is a option called getting started. Under that also there is a getting wizard. From there also you can reach to this place. Okay, two way you can reach it. Either you come from the application tab itself, or come from the home tab. Either way, the same procedure. And I first know what my application technology stack. Say in my case I am going to have my application which is a Java application. I know it is a Java application. Apache Tomcat server is a server, and HSQL DB is a DB. Like that, first I should know the architecture, basically architecture and the technology stack of my application. So okay, in my case I have all the data available. What is that? I know my application is a Java based application, and it's deployed in Apache Tomcat server, and my embedded DB is a HSQL DB. That is what my understanding. Now I'm going to, with that understanding, I'm going here. Say my application is a Java application. First thing, I'm selecting that as a Java application. Then we have to follow this procedure, guys. Number one, what is it? Number one is usual. We are running 4.2 controller or what, it is all prerequisite only. So we usually create a latest account, right? So it will be there. Number two, what is a JVM? Okay, whether it is a Sun JRocket one, or IBM JVM. Okay, so in my case I know my application is a Sun JRocket one. Okay, I know. You guys, what you have to do, you have to talk to your application team, and then ask them what is a JVM made of, whether it is a IBM JVM or Sun JRocket JVM. Like that, you can talk to them, and then you select the condition based on that. And then the third one is, with this SaaS model only we are going to connect it, which is nothing but my SaaS
Yeah,
URL.
excuse me.
Yep.
Yeah, there will be only two types of JVMs, right? Only Sun J Rocket and IBM. Only these two
Yeah, yeah,
only.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so uh, so what we are doing, if there is a configuration of the SaaS model wherein you are doing the configuration. And then fourth step is download agent installer. Download agent installer. Okay, I am downloading my agent. I am downloading my agent. Imanshu, please observe this. Here only we are going to that topic, whatever you asked. Okay, I am downloading this agent.
What was the third step?
Step number 4.
Step number 3, actually. where it is HTTPS port 443 is
our SaaS account URL. You can see on the top of my address bar, painted
Okay.
202. That is the one. That is the one. You are saying for this SaaS account, I am doing the configuration. That is what you are trying to say. Clear? There is
Yes.
a one. They only asked this
Yes.
question. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
So I downloaded this app agent now. Okay. Let it complete. It is still doing that downloading task.
I think when we click on that create a Java application, the URL changes, right, Sharvana?
Which place you are talking? Please explain.
Before when you click on the create a Java or whatever, the URL changes to that particular number.
No. Prior to that also the URL is same only.
Oh, okay, okay.
This since because you are clicking it, it is not changing. It is
Oh,
a it is the same thing only available. Okay,
okay.
we are just creating an agent to connect to your App Dynamics tenant. Okay, that particular URL you are creating an account. That is the only notification we are doing.
Okay.
Yeah. It is showing fully downloaded, but it is still not completed. Yeah, now it is completed. Okay. So I'm cutting this from my download tab to my storage. Okay, I'm bringing to my storage. Example, I am creating a, maybe I will create a folder name called May. Okay, I'll create a folder name called May. Inside that, I will paste this. Say app dynamic. Sorry, I'll create one more folder inside that. I'll paste this and I'll say like it is app dynamics folder. Okay, inside that I'll paste this zip file. Okay, I pasted it. First step is we have to extract this. First step we have to extract this. I extracted the file now. Okay, so I told you already, guys. I told you that you need to configure your agent, your agent into your application, right? So this is my agent, Java agent is my agent. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm copying this path. Say an example, I'm taking a copy here. Okay, taking a copy here slash that Java agent name. Okay, Java agent dot Java. Okay, this one. Okay, you have to take that name here in the notepad plus plus. I'm taking the name. Okay, Java agent dot Jar maybe. Okay, so now I am going to my application server Apache Tomcat. Inside the Apache Tomcat bin folder, there is a file called catalina.bat file, guys. Please remember, for Apache Tomcat, you have to go to the catalina.bat file for Apache Tomcat. Remember this, okay? So I'm going inside this. At the beginning of your file, anywhere at the beginning of your file, probably you can set it anywhere, some middle of your Java OPTS. No, you can say like you have to search your Java OPTS. Okay, and then you can, or else you do like this. Instead of doing like this, this is the entire path. You can see this is the entire path. You can go to this App Dynamics page also. The first step is what they are saying, unzip that. Okay, unzip that, and then what they are doing, you have to create an argument like this, Java agent, and then your path of your jar file. So what you can do, either you go to that place like this, you have to give, guys, set catalina.opts equal to, and then your full path. This is a full path, guys. This is a full path. In my case, I have to, it is already created one. So what I'm doing, I have to give my latest one. What I'm doing, this is a path which I created latest. Okay, I'm copying this, going to my Catalina file. I'm replacing this one. I'm replacing this path, guys. Okay, so I'll copy paste this to you guys. Okay, you can, I copy paste in the chat itself, copy, and then I'll paste it into our chat, GoToMeeting chat, so you guys can take it. So predominantly your yeah,
Yeah,
please,
just
someone.
wanted to check. Yeah, Dev here. Just wanted to check what is this Catalina.batch, and second thing is what is this OPTS file? I mean, just wanted to understand what are these.
See, what is that? No, Catalina.bat file is nothing but through that only your Apache Tomcat is actually working. Okay, it is a configuration file which is there in Apache Tomcat. Catalina.bat is a configuration file. Inside that you can see all data related to your Apache Tomcat is here only. Your configuration config file, right? Everything is inside this Catalina.bat. Catalina.opts is nothing but you are creating the option that this agent is integrated into your application server and instructing the Apache Tomcat. Okay, I'm setting this OPTS file so that going forward you take this agent into your regular activity. That is what you are trying to say. This OPTS file is nothing but whenever your Apache Tomcat application server is loading, right, it will take this agent also along with the loading. Say an example, you think it like this, Dev. You are starting your server. Some files has to be loaded, right, in the initial loading time itself. Some supporting files, some initial configuration files should be loading, right? So what you are doing, you are setting that condition in Apache Tomcat server, which is argument name called Catalina.opts. Under that, you are giving the path of your agent. So after doing this, if you are saving this file, okay, if you are saving this file, and then you go to your path, bin folder, go to your path. Say an example, if I go to my path, startup.bat, if I am giving, you can give the first place, it will show you full agent registration, and the logging is actually happening. Java agent, app agent directory, all agent classes have been preloaded. It will show successfully loaded also. After some time, what it will show, the Java agent loaded successfully, started AppDynamics Java agent successfully. All these messages should come, guys. Okay, if it is not coming, you are doing some mistake. If it is coming, which means that you are doing a proper configuration. That is what the mean. Till now, if you guys have any question, please ask me, guys.
So you mean to say like it's not about only keeping the agent in a particular server, like the AppDynamics agent, but this will get started with the help of this Apache Tomcat, and through which the transactional overview will happen to the main AppDynamics controller, correct?
Yeah, exactly. You are catching the point, because Himanshu, you are now clear, right? There is a agent sitting outside. You are only giving the path of the agent to the Catalina.bat file. Then when you are loading it, actually the application server is taking the data. Clear now, Himanshu?
Yes.
That is the
Thank
reason
you.
I did. Yeah, that is the reason I did not tell on that day, because it is not like Dynatrace. I think there are people in this forum who knows Dynatrace also. There is concept is different. For them, the concept is different. They have an internal engine is totally different way it is capturing the data. But in AppDynamics, this is the way, guys. Okay, this is the way. You did the configuration now. So what I am doing now, I know my application URL. Say an example, I am going here, localhost, okay, 8087 JPEG store. Okay, this is my application, right? Say if I am creating some kind of a load now in my application. Say when you think about your Dynatrace, sometimes it will not even, if you are not even loading the data, it will try to do the monitoring on the service side, transaction side, in the infra side and all, right? But in AppDynamics, you do the instrumentation. Not don't use the word instrumentation. You do the injection of your agent. That's all. You will get the data relevant to that. So, but only thing in AppDynamics, you have to make sure, guys, you have to give some load. Without that load, it will not open. It will not do the purpose at all. So what you have to do, make sure you are giving some load for maybe 3 to 5 minutes. You try to give load, guys. Okay, because I saw many instances AppDynamics did not even getting back the data because of the minimum load happening. So if you are going down, if I scroll down, it is saying agent connected. Agent is connected, but the data has to come. Data has to come. So you have to keep on giving the load, guys. You have to keep on giving the load. So you give for some 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, 3 to 5 minutes you try to give. Okay.
So Sarvan, at the part of the process when you're using the Jeppet store, right? So last day you have shown us the installation of Apache Tomcat. So you'll also show us how to configure the Jeppet store so that we can also do it on a practical basis. Am I right?
No, Apache Tomcat, and then I did not show you how to deploy the warfare.
No, it didn't.
No, you didn't show.
Oh, really? Apologies, guys. I thought like I showed that as well. Okay, no problem. We'll complete this. That is a very easy process only. Okay, I'll straight away will show you. Okay. Really apologize for missing this. Okay. We'll see that. So I'm creating some kind of a load. You have to check it for some time whether the data is coming or what. Most of the time it should come, or else you try to refresh this page, because sometimes the refresh issue also will be there. You can see the applications created. The application created actually saying that bottom line should come as green. If it is not coming, actually two green lines were there, right? One is agent connected and the data has to be populated. The second line, if it is not connecting, sometime you try to refresh the page because of some data refresh issue also will be there. Now we are done with our the application creation. Okay, till now, anyone have any question, guys? Till now, whatever we did. We are good with this, right? We are good with what we did till now.
Very good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
just to
Meghna.
add to this, in case we are working on a clustered environment and we have multiple app servers, so we'll have to make sure that we do the same procedure for each and every app server, right?
Actually,
In
yes.
the same way.
Actually, yes. But I'll tell you one more class also. See, each agent is
Yeah.
money. There is an investment. Okay. So what people are doing nowadays, they are not going with the holistic installation. They are going with the percentage installation. Say out of 10, I will deploy for only 2 to 3 machine. Like that also people are preferring. But on an enterprise level company, they are doing for entire prod environment. For a mid scale or small scale companies, they are trying to do with a percentage wise. Okay. Uh, Give me 1 minute, guys. Just a minute. Sorry guys, my 1 year son started crying, that is the reason. Okay, yeah, so till now we were able to do that. Sorry, I'll go back to our configuration side. Okay, so what we missed, I configured a Apache Tomcat server. Okay, I know that configuration done, and then what I'm doing, I'm going to my local host 8087, which is the place I am configured my Apache Tomcat server. Many can ask me this question: how do you know it is configured in 8087? Go to the conf file. Okay, there is a place called the server. Okay, in the server you can go here. You can scroll down. You can scroll down. Yeah, this is a place connector port. This place, right? Port protocol. It is connected to 8087. If someone feels like you want to change the port, you can very well change the port, guys. Okay, there are people will feel like 8080 is those who are really firstly doing the installation. The default port is 8080, guys. Okay, 8080. Okay, in my case, I don't want to run it in 8080 because many of my applications are running in 8080. So I change the port to 8087. Okay, so I know that it is running in 8087. So what I can do, straight away go to the browser, localhost 8087. It has to show this page. It has to show this page. Then only we can understand our Apache Tomcat server is actually running. So what you can do, you can you can go here, manager app. You can click manager app, and then I know my username password. I told you this one, right? Where to set this username password, guys, on that day.
Yes, yes, you said that.
Yeah, okay. I am going down. I am choosing a file where my war file is there. So I know my war file is there in my local. I will share this war file with you guys. Okay, don't worry, I'll share all the data related one. So you can go here. This is my war file example. This is my war file. I can select this war file, and then if I click deploy, it will deploy it into my list of applications. This is my list of application. You can see I already deployed that war file. JPEG store is a war file. So if I click this link, it will open my application. Which means that going forward, if I'm using this URL, my application is loaded under that. Now you can recollect, guys. Your application developer is giving you a URL only. You are not doing any deployment, any configuration things and all, right? What they will do, they will give the end URL to you. You will only launch it with the username and password. But in our case, what we did, I showed you how to deploy an application, how to actually install the Apache Tomcat, and in that I deployed a JPEG store application, and then we are using it. Guys, this is how you have to do the configuration of the JPEG store. I think this was asked by Himanshu or Dev, either of one, right? You are clear with this, guys?
Yeah, clear. And just to reiterate, when you say the username and password setting, last day I think you have shown in one of the enabling part, and you have pasted that code. That is the one that is to set the username and password, right?
Clear. Yeah, exactly there. Okay, that place only. Okay, so now guys, if I go to the paint, now I will show you a representation. Okay, I first created what? I created one. Sorry, I created one Apache Tomcat installation, and then in that I deployed my JPEG store. Then it became my application. Okay, my application where I wanted to do the monitoring. Okay, my application is ready. Then what I did in the SaaS account. Okay, in the SaaS account, Apache AppDynamics SaaS account. What I did, AppDynamics SaaS account, what I did, I downloaded the agent which is related to Java. Okay, I downloaded the agent. This is the AppDynamics application agent. Okay, AppDynamics application agent. Okay, and then what happened? I gave the path of the agent to where? In the Catalina file, which means that by giving that, I establish a connection between the AppDynamics agent and the application. Where did I do? I configured inside the Catalina.bat file. Catalina.bat file. Okay, and then when I restarted this server, we restarted the server and I did something in the application. What application did? Application started getting the traffic from the application, and then it gave the data to the AppDynamics as. Okay, I told you it is a one direction 443 communication. Through that it did the data transfer. Guys, this representation, anyone have any question, guys? Clear, right? We are clear. We are good with what we are doing. Okay, so now we did that part, and if you go here, if you could last 5 minutes or 15 minutes like that, if you refresh it, it will create a flow map. That is a artificial intelligence built in AppDynamics, that it will create a flow map where the request started and where it went. Those pictorial representation it will try to give you guys. That is the intelligence built in. Sometimes, you know, in this case, this I did not do much of a load to the DB. Because of that reason only, that embedded DB is not showing up yet. Okay, if I keep on hitting this application, means what will happen, there is a request is going to the DB also, so it will try to show the DB also in the representation, this flow map. Okay, now you will understand, as a performance tester in the traditional way, those who are doing performance testing, right, they may not be knowing where the request is triggering, where it is going, what is the time taken, what is a call triggered. Those information and all people will not aware, guys. Okay, but using these APM tools, you can easily understand certain things. I with this picture itself, I'll explain you. There are 2 calls per minute is triggering, and the time taken is 18 milliseconds. That is the first information, first level of information. And then you are checking that this is a Java application, and you have one tier, one node. Okay, one tier, one node. What is tier? What is node? What is tier? What is node? Okay, say an example. You have you have application server, you have web server, you have a DB server. Okay, you have these 3 servers sitting in 3 machine. How many tiers are there, guys?
So if
Web
it is
server app, what is it? 3
if it is
tier architecture. 3 tier architecture, correct? So that is the same understanding. Here in my case, I have only one application server. That is the reason it is showing us one tier. And also I configured in only one machine. This is my laptop. Inside the laptop, I configured that application agent, right? So it is a one node, which means that one tier is nothing but application layer, and then one node is nothing but only one machine I configured it. Guys, any question in this? What is tier and what is node? Clear with this understanding?
Node means with how many machines you have deployed, is it?
How many machines you are deployed? Yes, Dave. I will maybe tell you like this also. Usually I usually provide this kind of a representation so people will understand it little more clear. What will I do? I'll show like this. You have a web app DB. Okay, web app DB. Okay, this is called as web app DB. People usually call this as a 3-tier architecture or whatever. If it is deployed in 3 machines, they'll call it as 3-tier architecture, right? So 3 things are there. That is called as tier. Web is a tier, app is a tier, DB is a tier. Okay, but this web server itself is having some that web server itself is having some 3 web servers example. Okay, 3 web servers and 3 app servers and 3 DB servers. Okay, which means that how many web nodes are there, how many app nodes are there, how many DB nodes are there?
3.
3. Simple, right? So we have 3 nodes of web server, 3 nodes of app server, 3 nodes of DB server, and 3 tiers are there: web tier, app tier, DB tier. That is what we are representing here, guys. We are representing here in this one node, one tier. And till now there is no call trigger to DB. That is the reason there is no connectivity shown. But if you keep on iterating this application for end to end, this application you are keep on iterating, you are giving lot of load to the DB. Okay, you are giving lot of load. Say like actually saying this application is little lightweighted application only. So you have to keep on doing it for multiple times. Then only it will create some kind of a DB load and all.
So
Usually what will I do? No, I will not do like this, guys. I will create a JMeter script and then I will start it. So what will happen? It will synthetically create the load. I don't want to create any kind of a load. Even I have a script available already, but I need to do a small tweaking. That is the reason I did not take that script now. If you in your environment, what you do, no, you prepare a JMeter script for the URL. This application URL, you try to prepare a JMeter script, or else what will I do? If you guys wish, I'll share the JMX also, which I created. You try to only change the port which is relevant to you. In my case, it is 8087. The script that I prepared is having 8080 as a port. Okay, so if you guys are using default port of 8080, you can straight away use my JMX script. So you can restart, you can start that JMX, so that will create a load in your system. Clear, guys, what I'm saying? Clear with the explanation, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll go one by one. We did the configuration of the app agent now. We'll go one by one. Just a minute.
Sarvana, right now the what is web server, what is app server? Everything is Tomcat only, right?
In this, who asked this question? Sorry. Is it your
Naga.
good name?
Naga.
Naga, right? Naga. Actually, this application is not having web server. What I'm using, right? This application is having embedded DB and app server.
Okay.
Okay. That is the reason it is showing like this. When you are deploying your application, you need to have those things configured. Okay, those things configured. Clear?
Okay. Yeah. For example, tomorrow if you set up the DB also, it means one tier for DB and one tier app, and which is also one node in each. So it is one tier architecture, right?
Yeah. You're exactly catching the point. Yeah, correct. Yeah, correct. So
What
that
is
is
the
how.
embedded DB that you mentioned?
See, this application, right? This JPEG Store application is having an embedded DB called HSQL DB. HSQL DB. Okay, that is what it is saying. One unconnected backend. It is unable to detect that because it is. You can see HSQL database engine is there. Even I am also trying to connect that one. Usually, it will auto connect. Sometimes only it will not connect it because of maybe the restart issue or something like that. If you restart it, usually it will take that into your database activity. Okay. For now, it is saying
Mention in short that what is embedded DB means.
Embedded DB means inside your application code itself, DB code also there. It is not separately written. The DB queries that you are writing, right? That is inside your application logic itself. Yeah, that is called as embedded DB. See, in realistic world, there will be app server, there will be a DB server. The DB may be MySQL, Postgres, Mongo, like that. They are separately maintaining it, right? They will have a separate code branch, separate deployment, everything will be there. Here, what they did, they written a small application wherein the database related, the JDBC related things also within the app server code itself. That is what embedded DB. Clear? Clear there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe I need to restart it, then only it will connect it. It's okay, no problem. So we are coming to the screen. That is a default screen just after the configuration of your application agent. Okay. First thing what you have to observe, in the right hand side, this particular tab is there, right? This entire tab. This is a place usually you will get alarming things, guys. Alarming things, which is nothing but now it is showing us green. Everything is green. So everything is under the expected value. Okay. So sometimes if it is breaching, sometimes some kind of a issue is there, some exception is there, some health issue is there, like that. If something is happening, it will show us either a yellow one, or it will be in red. Okay, predominantly in red. So with that only you will start your investigation, guys. You will start your investigation. Don't worry. In my subsequent classes, what I will do, I will purposefully create too much of load to that application, make this place red, and then I will show you the issue identification, issue debugging things are there in the subsequent class. Today, since because we are only doing the configurational stuffs, because of that I did not show the red color and all. If you are starting your jpet your jmeter script, straight away it will become red color, because this application and all very small heap size, right? The application will have very small heap size, so obviously it will create some kind of a problem if you are giving too much of a load. Clear, guys? For now there is no load. Because of that, it is saying like a very limited one. But if you are keep on hitting this application, no, that obviously it will become red. That threshold and all will go away. Okay. So in the right hand side place only you are starting your investigation. The first foremost thing what you are doing, you are going to do that. Okay. What will I do? Just a minute, guys. For the benefit of you guys, I made it to 8080 again. I am shutting down my server first. First I have to shut down. Okay, and then starting the server again. Okay, let it start. I told you yesterday also, you have to wait for some time, let the entire the server starts properly, and then only you have to launch your application. Okay, we'll wait for some time. Now nothing, guys. We only change the port in which the application is working. Yeah, it is started properly. Now as I mentioned, I'm going to 8080. Okay, if I hit it, sorry, I have to launch it properly. Yeah, launched properly. And then if I'm starting the one, I'm signing in, logging in. Like this you can do your regular load creation. Okay, now what I'm doing, you can watch it, guys. I'm going to my Apache JMeter folder. Under the bin, I'm starting my JMeter. Okay, somebody can ask me like, are these the one you are going to show in the integration of JMeter with AppDynamics? No, this is not the integration at all. What we are currently doing is just a synthetic load creation through the JMeter to your application server. In the later part of our training session, I am going to show you how to integrate JMeter with AppDynamics, and how you can see the data which are related to JMeter in AppDynamics. Okay, that is different one, guys. Okay, don't get confused.
So whatever the tool maybe you are running from, you will see the load there, right? What is this integration again to App Dynamics? A JMeter integration to App.
Say you sorry, is it Naga again?
Yeah.
Yeah, Naga, you think like this. You are executing a test. You are running the test for some 1 hour.
Okay.
Will you definitely say all the load created by you?
No,
No.
I cannot. Correct.
But customer is saying, you tell me whatever the load created by you and whatever the load created by some other tester. How will you do?
Oh, yeah. That's a difficult one. Yeah.
Yeah. See, these are all problem statements, Naga. Actually saying, no, all these years, I saw many customers where there is a problem, they'll give that as a requirement to you. Where there is a problem, they'll give that as a requirement to you. You will never do that, but they will say, no, I want this to be done. I want this as a requirement. You go and do it. So these are the steps that we are taking to overcome those problem statements. How to do the integration, these, that, and all. And also many customer, what I recently I saw one customer. Okay, recently I saw one customer. What they are asking, I am running a test, but my load testing number and the App Dynamics number is not same.
Okay.
They are
Yeah.
asking this question.
Yeah.
Okay, load testing number and the App Dynamics number is not same. So these are all problem statements now. So
Yeah.
when you know each and everything, only you can answer to those questions, right? When you know
Correct.
each and everything. Say you guess what is the answer for this problem statement? Or you
Yeah.
guess random guess.
We need to set up our JMeter or load runner to the AppD.
Yeah. Say your load runner and JMeter hitting in which layer? Transport layer, correct?
Uh,
Transport layer it is hitting HTTP. Okay.
okay. Yeah.
But you think about your App Dynamics. It is hitting in the browser layer, correct?
Okay.
Then there will be a delta. Then definitely be a delta. Difference of number, right? Difference of your App Dynamics number and difference of your load runner number, correct? So you have to first, we need to know all these concepts, then only we can educate the customer. So if you know these concepts, you can educate the customer. No, there is a difference. Yeah, we understand. There is a user experience agent which is monitoring your infrastructure, which means that your browser rendering, browser page painting, timing, and all you are capturing. But in tool level, there is no concept called browser rendering, browser page painting, and all. It will only give you the server level because it is working in the transport layer. That is how we are explaining to them. Clear?
Okay. Yeah.
So say this is a problem statement, means in no other go you have to integrate JMeter and App Dynamics, find the value, find the delta. Lot of things are there, right? So that is the reason. Clear, Naga?
Yeah. Clear.
Yeah.
But Savana, I am not aware of this transport layer and HTTP layer. Will you be going through in the course?
I'll explain over the course. Okay. Usually
Yeah.
I'll do like that only.
Yeah.
See, that is what I'm telling you guys. The course content which is there in the website, right? It is only to say that we are taking this. Okay. But during our course, definitely I will cover the additional stuffs only. I will never say like what is there in the website, I will cover it, I'll complete it. No, we are not going in that way. Now also you could have observed we are taking extra time to explain the app agent itself. It is
Right.
not that one day, one agent, I will complete it, I will not touch it. No, we are not going in time bound sessions, guys. We want everyone should understand what we are doing. Each and every step we have to be clear and thorough. Clear, guys? That is the
Right.
reason we are going in this way. And also the conceptual sides, you can see many a times I'm using the term like this is an interview question. This will be coming like I'm going little like the preparation side also I will cover it. Don't worry. I'll do that, Naga. We'll do that. That is how usually I'll explain like that only.
Yeah.
Okay. Now what I'm doing, I'm going here. Thread group is 4. If I want to really create any issue, I can straight away click 7 user or 8 user, and then if I'm starting the test, which means that I'm synthetically creating a load, kind of a robot. Okay, I'm kind of a robot which is creating the load to my application. So I started there. I know definitely within short span of time my application will crash. I know very well because the heap size is very, very small for this application. So what I can do, let it run for some time. Within 5 minutes, the data will be loading here. We'll wait for some time.
So now everything related to the application we can see in the AppD, right?
Yeah. That is what I'm trying to show you now.
For example, memory and those things also.
That is different agent. That is different agent. That is called a machine agent. Okay. What you are talking, that JVM memory you are asking?
Yeah,
JVM memory you are asking.
memory
Yeah,
of
that I'll show you.
yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
that I will show you. That I will show you.
Yeah, tiers and nodes or somewhere.
Yeah. That I will show you. Don't worry.
Okay.
That is actually, till now we did not show the detailed metrics and all. I will show that. Maybe I don't think today we will extensively cover it, because we have another 8 minutes to 10 minutes only is there. But tomorrow also we are going to take app agent only. Okay, so don't worry. We'll go like this only. Slowly we'll learn everything. So we are waiting for the load to come. Sometimes
In the
it
meantime,
will
if you
take.
can explain what the transport layer is, because even I had that question.
See, guys, each this STTP, these things and all, how it is happening is this whatever the STTP communication is happening, right? That is called as transport layer communication. They'll say transport layer. So I think you would have this 7 layers and all, people will say. You heard of that 7 layers? How
Yeah.
the I think during
Yes,
our
yes.
engineering
Application.
studies we would have
Yes.
during our engineering studies we would have learned that, but don't go
Application layer,
to
session
that
layer, transport layer.
application layer, transport layer, presentation layer, like that. You don't want to take a very deep understanding. STTP is actually communicating in the transport layer. Okay, STTP is actually communicating in the transport layer, but about to that there is a presentation layer, right? From the transport to that presentation layer is our browser is happening, the page painting, page rendering and all is on top of it. So what is HTTP is doing is one layer below to the presentation layer. So your HTTP communication is completing in the transport layer itself, but your presentation layer is having the browser rendering, browser page painting, those things are there. So that is the reason people are going for the true client protocol when they are talking about browser related things. When they are going for HTTP protocol, that is a transport layer communication. If somebody is going and checking, say an example, I don't know how relevant to our current topic. If somebody is saying web HTTP versus true client, okay, difference between web HTTP true client, you know, in many of the forum actually they will mention this.
Yeah, during the course, if possible, this if you take half class for these 7 layers to explain it.
That is what, that 7 layers is not relevant to us, Naga. That is the reason I'm saying all those 7 layers is not relevant to us. Maybe for your benefit, I will take for 5 to 10 minutes related to that, how we are really utilizing for our thing. Actually saying it is not fully relevant to us. Since you are eagerly asking, like, definitely I will do that. I will do that for you. Okay. Usually I will take the point given by the students, so definitely I will take this one. We'll do that, no problem. Maybe somebody should not feel like this is not relevant to me. That is the reason I'm little hesitant. Other than that, we'll take for 5 to 10 minutes to come. Okay, so I will take that comparison also. For now I did not find it, but usually they'll say it is in transport layer and that is in browser layer. Okay, true client protocol. That is the reason they are able to capture the browser component loading time and all. But here you cannot see the component loading and all. You can only see the HTTP page level thing. This also somebody can argue with me. There is a thing called HTTP mode. There is a thing called URL mode and all. Somebody can argue with me, but I'll tell you that is a component loading time. That's all. There is no arrangement time and all there for this URL mode and HTML mode. Somebody can tell me, in my script there is a JS call, there is a CSS call, there is a PNG call or also captured, right? Then how we are saying there is no front end loading components are there? Okay, there is a logic behind that, guys. Okay, say if you go here, I am saying like tiger. Okay, I am typing like tiger. I am going to this image place. Okay, if I right click it, copy image address. Okay, if I go here, control V, if I paste it, what is happening? This page is loading. Did you know where it is loading? Will you say it is loading in left hand side, it is loading in right hand side, it is loading in bottom? Will you be able to tell that? No, right?
No.
Nobody can say. But what you are doing in load runner, what I am doing, this image URL only you are also hitting in your load runner. But load runner did not know this image in web application, it is sitting in x-axis 40 degree, y-axis 80 degree. In that way, will it tell you?
No.
Load runner will tell that. That concept is called page rendering and page painting. That concept is called page rendering and page painting. In load runner, nowhere you can simulate that. Able to understand, guys, what I'm saying?
Yep.
Clear, right? Say somebody can argue with me like there also PNG files are there, JPEG files are there. We are loading the component. How we are saying there is no browser components are there. Browser components are there, but there is no arrangement. There is no arrangement in page. Where is that? It will not go and arrange it and all. Clear with this, right? We don't want to deviate too much. I'll come back to our app dynamics space. Okay, sorry. Yeah, coming back. Here, the load is triggered. That test is running. Looks like my application crashed already. That is the reason it is not giving back any response to me. Yeah, lot of errors are coming. Able to see? Yeah, lot of errors are coming. You can see in the below also the error graph is coming, and then you can see it is normal only for 99.5 times, guys, which means that remaining 0.5% there is a issue with my server. Okay, and also now you can see there is a connection established. It is not fully connection established. There is a connection establishment figure is showing that the call is triggering from here to my DB, here to my HSQL database engine. It is showing. Okay, clear, guys? Till now we are clear with whatever I'm doing. I'm creating a synthetic load, creating some kind of error, and I'm saying my application is not 100% healthy, 100% healthy, because the healthy component is reducing now. The healthy component is reducing now. Okay, now only our investigation usually starts, guys. How it will start? I am going to the exception tab. If I click this exception, it will go to the exception tab, but it will show you what are the exceptions that I received. It is saying there is a duplicate key is there, HSQL exception is there, and then internal server is there, guys. Okay, anyways I can start my investigation. Whichever the way I can start my investigation, if I double click it, it will go to the respective place. That is how the investigation starting. Either I can do in that way. There is one way is doing like this, error side you can do, or else I can go to the business transaction. There is a tab called business transaction. Okay, in that there are two requests are there. I could understand there is a particular request only having error, the other request is healthy, it is not having any problem. What I can do, I can double click this place, guys. If I double click that particular business transaction, it will show you the initial journey for how that particular request is going from where to where. It is showing it is starting from here. A JDBC call is going to my DB. That is what it is saying. So my investigation starting from here, guys. I can click start, the start button. Okay, if I click start button, on the top of it, it is saying my tier, how many nodes are there, which node is actually creating the problem, what is the server detail. For now we did not do any server configuration, so it will not show anything. And what is the incoming call detail, and then what is the error. Okay, it will show all the details, guys. So the particular call failed in this HSQL exception. You can either double click that, okay, either double click that, or else you can straight away go here. You can go to the what I can say, DB queries tab. If something is related to the DB query or what is that a problem with the DB query? It is saying no, and then you can go to the transaction snapshots. It is saying all these are snapshot took. Very easy, guys. In AppDynamics, issue identification is very easy. You can sort this execution time column. You can see this particular, it took 618 milliseconds. Don't think 618 is a very critical problem or what. This is a local host application. For that, 618 itself very wrong, right? So 618, and then there is a concept called call graph. You can see here there is a gray color one is there, and here there is a blue color one is there. So what is that meaning? When AppDynamics is able to identify end-to-end log from top to bottom, AppDynamics is able to identify the log, means that is called full call graph. If AppDynamics is unable to find full call graph, then that is called as partial call graph. So in this case, it is able to get the partial call graph only, guys. Okay. So what I'm doing, I'm double clicking. I'm double clicking that particular issue. It will show you the detail of where that request is coming. It is showing potential issues. So the potential issue is under this place there is a problem, guys. There is a service call, servlet service call. It's simple, guys. You can copy paste to this developer, they will understand everything. Okay, or else you still have the option to drill down. You can drill down that one. What it will do, it will show you the partial call graph where it is doing from a thread 748 thread. There is a servlet call triggered, and that servlet call went to a service, and that service call went to execute resolution. In this journey, the middle service only a problem. This middle service, you can click here, view the details. You can click here, view the details. It is taking, this is the name of the service, what is the type of the service, and what is the class name, what is the method name, which line number, that is a problem. So you can copy entire thing and give it to the developer. That's all. They are going to do the remaining things, guys. Till now, any question, guys? How did we come to this point, finding the issue?
The flow is clear. Just wanted to check that why did you call this particular transaction as partial call graph, not the full one?
That is with the color only, I'm saying. With the color, if it is ash color, that is partial call graph. You can say contain a partial call graph. If it is blue color, that the AppDynamics is able to fully identify the path. That is the meaning. That is the meaning.
Which means you can exactly point out the issue, and the partial call graph you cannot point exactly.
Exactly. Partial information is there. In the blue color one, you have a full detail, full potential performance issue details are available. That is what the meaning.
Okay.
When partial, how do you actually report the issue? The way you show?
Partially it is there. Say if I double click this full call graph, okay, full call graph, it is actually saying green, okay, because of there is no health issue. I'm just showing you. If I click this drill down, it is green color. 7 milliseconds is not at all an issue, but since you asked, I'm saying this is an endpoint. This is a loading. 100% of the loading is happened in this request itself. So you are not worried of what happened further and all, right? But in that case, there is a chain of reaction. In that middle only you are able to understand. That is the reason it is saying partial call graph. If a tool is able to understand full information, you're able to understand what I'm saying. Clear,
Yeah.
guys, what I'm saying?
Yeah, but one small doubt here. So in case of partial identification, I mean, will it be sufficient, whatever information that we pass on to the developers, will they able to completely track down the issue, or if not,
Still,
then what is the process?
they can still do that. They can still do that. What is a problem and all. They can still do that. Only thing is you are one layer above. You are not giving the little more detail. but you are still, whatever you are still providing is actually a valuable information to them. Don't think like you are partially giving the data. Actually you are giving a value information only. What I'm saying, if it is a full call graph, it will be a little more value add. That is the only thing. Other than that, still you are giving the proper data only.
Okay,
Clear?
and because of what reason actually there is a partial information that gets tracked by AppDynamics? Why not the full trace is happening there?
Maybe we did not install the database agent. Database agent is not there. Say it is unable to full track it. They say if you are not having machine agent, it is unable to identify whether it is a CPU memory issue. Lot of dependencies are there. Right? Till now we covered only app agent. In app agent, what is the maximum it is able to capture? It is doing. If you are having all the agent installed, then it will cumulatively do all the traces. Able to understand?
Clear. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So till with this we'll wrap up for today's session, guys. I hope we are moving in the right direction. We'll reconvene tomorrow to deep dive into app agent a little more. We have still more little things to show up, and then we'll go to the subsequent agent related information. Clear, guys? Yeah. With this we'll wrap up for today's session. Please, guys, you can ask all your questions in the chat. Okay, I may not be straight away replying to that. Maybe I'll have some other priority to be done, but definitely I will answer all your questions. Okay, please wait for some time. Today's the early stage. I'll cover the either a database agent and the server agent also, and then I'll ask you to create a SaaS account. That time you guys can create it and then do the things. Okay, guys. With this, I'll
Yeah. So can you share the WAR file, the JPEG store in our group?
Yeah, Dev, please put your Gmail ID in the group, or it is good that you can separately ping me also. I'll
Sure.
send it through Drive, Google Drive. You can take it, Dev. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Not only for them, it is for all. Those who are interested to play around with this, you can provide your Gmail ID. I will share the WAR file to you guys. Yeah. Okay, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks all for joining today's session. Those who are interested to proceed with the payments, please reach out to Kumar sir. He will give you the guidance. Okay. Thank you all. Thank you so much. Bye bye.